What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon, MLB DFS video. It is Wednesday. It is July 26th, and we have another breakdown. If you've never been here before, welcome. You're in for a treat, I hope. If you like the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If anyone wants to help out, you can watch the ads, watch the entire length of this video. That helps out the channel immensely. If you want to help out a little bit more, go check out FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. Check out the FTA Plus tab, and you can sign up for a month for $24.99, or you can hit the yearly pass using promo code NFLVIP. You're going to get $100 off right now and get a full year for $99 compared to $25 a month. So go check that out. We are on the brink of NFL. We can taste it. We're trying to get to 10,000 YouTube subs before the start of the NFL season. I think we can do it. If we can, I'm going to give away 2 lifetime passes. Just like yesterday's video, anyone who is already an FTA Plus member, if you go log into FantasyTeamAdvisors.com and edit your profile, there should be a button there to connect you to our Discord channel, and you have the Discord channel during the length of your membership, so go check that out. And if you have any questions, email me and we'll try to hit you up. So anytime a video gets at least 50 likes and you leave a comment and you're a subscriber, you have a chance to win. 50 likes gets you a week subscription. 100 likes gets you a chance at a month, and 125 likes get a chance at a yearly pass. Brought to you by FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. So let's try to get that here, guys. It is a random, weird slate. We're going to go through all of them. We're going to check this out. We're going to select the winner, and you can win multiple times. We've had multiple people win multiple times here. So we're going to see who the winner is from yesterday's video. Congratulations, Oriole Hagby. I believe they have won like 3 or 4 times. That is the equivalent of a free month. Every time it's a week. Congratulations. Hit us up on email, dfshelp1@gmail.com, or hit us up on Twitter @advisors_team there. Congratulations, and everyone else, you have a chance to win after this video. If this video gets at least 50 likes, someone will win. So good luck to everybody, and we're going to jump right into it. So we're not looking at weather right now. Weather comes in. We have a weather tab on our cheat sheet. That'll come into play. I am looking into PGA, golf, DFS. I don't know if there's much interest in it. If there is, let me know. I just don't want to do a lot of work on golf and videos and articles and cheat sheets and stuff like that if there's not enough there. I am looking into NASCAR a little bit. Also looking in MMA. I'm trying to see if there's enough interest in all the other sports, or I should just stick to like the main core sports of MLB, NBA, NFL, and maybe even NHL. But there's zero chance I can do videos on NHL because I can't pronounce any of the names. So I don't want to put you guys through that. So that being said, we've got early games, afternoon games, and a main slate. So let's dig in and let's make this the best DFS video you will listen to all month long. So Rockies at the Nationals is the first game. Peter Lambert versus Jake Irvin. So looking at this, we got to go early, don't we? We got to go early in this one. Are they even going to offer it? 11:05. This game's not even offered? What is going on? Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. I see what we did. Let's get out of here. Check the lobby. Check this. Go here. Make sure the games are all here. I mean, this is starting off swell, isn't it, everybody? Okay, so looking at this, Lambert, 5,000. That's what we're looking for. Game logs, he went 5 innings his last start. Other than that, he hasn't gone in there, been in the bullpen. He's going to get another start here against the Nationals. Hasn't faced them this year. He's on the road. On the road, he's got 2.79 ERA, so he is better on the road. cheap option if he could go at least 5 innings. If he could go at least 5 innings, I don't mind him. He's not going to be my first option there. So looking at that, it just really depends on what offense is going to show up. Is the Rockies offense going to show up like they did on Tuesday against Trevor Williams, or is he not going to have any run support at all? Coming in, he does have a 5.49 ERA, 39 strikeouts. A lot of that's from the bullpen, though. Like I said, his game log there against Miami, 3 Ks. I mean, that's not a ton of Ks, so we're still looking. But if he could get 18.9 fantasy points at 5,000, that's fantastic on DraftKings. Then we look at Jake Irvin, who's never faced them before. He is the second lowest priced person. Coming off a really good game against San Francisco, 1 win, 6.2 innings, 3 earned runs, had 9 strikeouts, the most amount of strikeouts all year. And now he's got a decent matchup against Colorado. I think both of these pitchers are tournament options. His ERA is really high on the. It's damn near identical on the road. At home, has more strikeouts at home, but he also has 10 starts at home and only 4 on the road. So his numbers actually, for 10 starts, 38 Ks, and he has 4 starts and 15 Ks. The math's not math in there. I don't know. I'm not in love with this early slate with some of the pitching, so I don't know if I'll even target this game at all. But that's kind of just a little breakdown of the first game on the slate. Next game, the Marlins at the Tampa Bay Rays. Sandy Alcantara versus Zach Eflin. Alcantara's not pitching like we're used to. Last year, Cy Young dominating performances almost every time out there. This time, blah. Eight hits allowed against St. Louis, and they're not even a good team. 6 innings, 4 earned runs, 7 strikeouts, 13.5. 13.5 at 8,300, not enough for me. 14.1, 18.2, 11.1. I mean, Boston had a good game. Only had 5 strikeouts, though, 23 fantasy points. That's my problem. Going up against Tampa Bay at Tampa Bay scares me as well. Away games, he's 491. At home, he's 448. So, I mean, it's an away game. A couple hours down the road or up the road or over the road, wherever the situation is. From Tampa Bay's on one side, Miami's on the other, correct? Yep. So looking at that, we've got just kind of... I don't know what to think of him. I don't think I trust him enough. We know he's really good. He is decent pitcher. I don't know where it went. I don't know what happened. He fell off. Probably, I'm a little bit scared to use him against Tampa Bay at home, so probably avoiding him. And then Eflin, for whatever reason, is always expensive this year. Game logs against Baltimore, 7 innings, 8 Ks, 34 fantasy points. We did use him. We were weary on that because it was Baltimore. Because he was coming off a bad game against Kansas City, which he should have won. Looking at that, 3 innings pitched there, 5 earned runs against Kansas City. Looking at splits, hasn't faced Miami this year. At home, he's way better at home, 2.10 ERA. 11 games started, 16 earned runs, 10 less earned runs. Almost double the amount of strikeouts at home. So I don't mind Zach Eflin here. I know he's expensive, so you're going to have to pair him with a cheaper option, and that's what we're here for. That's what we're going to dig into a little bit. So bats-wise, kind of got to wait for the Vegas numbers to come out, the weather to come out, the BVP, all the analytics for bases or hitters for the most part. These are usually just breaking down all of the games with pitching. And then if you want to see some of the pitchers we like and some of the bats that we like out of this, click the link down below in the description of the video, usually out by 9 a.m. Central every single day. So probably go with Eflin here. I'm going to stay clear from Alcantara. Royals at the Guardians, Alec Marsh versus Gavin Williams. Marsh, I'm not touching him. Gavin Williams, I'll look at. Alec Marsh right here. If it'll load. Oh, I didn't even click it. That's probably why. Game log, obviously, he did okay against the Yankees, as in he gave up 5 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, 2.6 fantasy points. He actually didn't do okay. I was just kidding. 6.2 ERA, 0-4 record. I think I'm going to be taking the Guardians here. Bo Naylor, we had him in a couple of our lineups. He had 2 home runs last time I looked. Another Guardian stack I don't mind at all. Then looking at Gavin Williams against the Royals, he's faced them twice this year. 12.2 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 13 strikeouts, doing really well. 22.7 fantasy points. almost double his output for the whole year. So I'm definitely looking at Kansas City. He just faced him at home, or looking at Gavin Williams against KC. Just faced him at home on July 8th. 5.2 innings. Did give up 8 hits, 3 earned runs, but had 7 strikeouts and 19.4. So I love Gavin Williams here for 6,500 at that price. You can pay up at other positions. So that's where I'm looking at. I'm not looking at Marsh. I'm looking at the Guardians bats and Gavin Williams as one of my pitchers. Mariners at the Twins. Bryce Miller versus Joe Ryan. Bryce Miller here. Game log, not bad. Against Toronto, 5.1 innings, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts. Had a really good game there. Facing Minnesota, hasn't faced them this year. Away games, he's 4.85, so he is worse on the road. He's given up less hits, but 1 more earned run, less home runs on the road, but he's striking out less people too. So might be looking at avoiding Bryce Miller here and looking at Joe Ryan against Seattle. Looking at his game logs, seeing if hasn't faced him this year. 10 games on the road, 10 at home. He's pitching at home right now, better ERA at home, more strikeouts at home, less walks, less home runs, less earned runs. So Joe Ryan is in a fantastic spot here. 10,700, so he is expensive, but you could take Joe Ryan and then Gavin Williams, and that's a lot of savings to build your lineups through. And then looking at that, it doesn't look like any weather is going to be a concern for these games. Reds at Milwaukee, Ben Lively versus Freddie Peralta. Looking at Ben Lively here. He's faced Milwaukee 3 times this year, back-to-back here. 2 starts ago. At home in Cincy, 4 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 3 strikeouts. At Milwaukee, where this game is being played, 5.2 innings, 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts there. In total, 16.2 innings, 3 home runs, 13 Ks, 12.9 fantasy points. Probably not enough, but looking at this away, his ERA is better on the road. 3.81 compared to 3.93 at home, so we can use that to our advantage possibly. Maybe throw Ben Lively in tournaments. Probably not liking him in cash at all. And then we look at Freddie Peralta, who just faced this team, I believe, his last 2 starts ago. Did really well there. At Cincy in Great American Small Park, 6 innings pitched, no earned runs, 6 strikeouts, 27.7 fantasy points at 9,000, and he's still the same price. I will have exposure to Freddie Peralta here. I look at this. His home games, 4.47 ERA, so he is better at home. Strikeouts are more, walks are 1 more, home runs are 2 more, earned runs. He is giving up a ton of runs, though, so Peralta might only be a tournament option for me here. So that ends the early slate for DraftKings. So we move on to the 2-game mid-slate, turbo slate, whatever you want to call it. Cardinals at the Diamondbacks. Well, actually, wait a minute. Where's Cardinals at the Diamondbacks? That's not even on here. They don't even have a slate for this yet. Flaherty versus to be announced. Flaherty's faced 30 of the Arizona Diamondbacks bats. I still don't trust him enough. I would still look at Arizona. Perdomo, Ketel Marte. Corbin Carroll did sit on Tuesday. I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know if he's just getting a day of rest. So let's take a little gander real quick. Just getting a breather. So not too bad. So he should be back in the lineup. So we could be looking at him. We could be looking at McCarthy. I don't mind him either. So definitely looking at an Arizona stack against Flaherty. And then the Pirates at the Pirates at the Padres. You got Johan Oviedo versus Seth Lugo. This is like, as of now, we can't even play these games. I don't want anything to do with these 2 pitchers. Probably looking at San Diego bats again, just like we did on Tuesday. Depending on who's out there, Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis Jr., Ha-Sung Kim. Depending on who the catcher is, maybe Gary Sanchez, maybe Trent Grisham. Really just depends on what we're looking at here. So, that being said, probably just stacking San Diego, not looking at the Pirates bats, not looking at Oviedo at all. Blue Jays at the Dodgers is the next game that's currently not on a slate that we can play. Yusei Kikuchi versus Tony Gonsolin. Kikuchi against the Dodgers, 38 plate appearances, 235. I can't take a pitcher against the Dodgers. I'd rather stack the Dodgers, whomever it is, especially at home. So I'm looking at Mookie Betts. If JD Martinez is in there, I'm looking at JD. I'm looking at Freddie Freeman, even though it's a lefty-on-lefty matchup. The Red Sox just traded Kike Gonzalez back to the Dodgers, so he's going home. If he is in there, he's a cheap option. I don't know if he'll start. I don't know what we're looking for out of him. But that being said, I'm okay with taking the Dodgers against Kikuchi. I don't want anything to do with Kikuchi at all. And then Gonsolin, on the other hand, really hasn't seen them much. 20 plate appearances, 176. I'll take a shot in the dark with Gonsolin at home. And let's hope, if he gives up 3 or less runs and gets the run support behind him, gets the dub, gets those fantasy points. So if we could get Gonsolin to get at least, let's see if I can even, I can't. Tournaments, I don't mind Gonsolin. I won't have any exposure here to Kikuchi at all. I will have exposure to Gonsolin, and I will have exposure to just different bats for Dodgers once we know the lineups that come out. Then we got Baltimore at Philly. You got Kyle Bradish, who's never faced Philly before, versus Ranger Suarez, who's only faced 15 of the O's bats, 286 batting average there. So looking at this, Kyle Bradish is the most expensive on this little turbo slate, $9,000. Looking at his splits, never faced Philly before, obviously. Away games has a worse ERA, 3.72 in 10 starts compared to 239 at home. Looking at his game logs, not a good game against Tampa Bay. I mean, a decent game. He went 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 15.3 fantasy points. Not enough for his price. Then against Miami had a really good game. Against the Yankees had a good game. Against Minnesota had a good game. An even better game against Seattle. Tampa Bay actually had a pretty good game there. Might have some exposure to Kyle Bradish here. On a 2-game slate, you kind of got to have exposure to everybody. That's kind of what we'd look at there. So looking at that, I don't mind Kyle Bradish. Ranger Suarez here against Baltimore. Hasn't faced them this year. Home games, he is worse at home. I honestly kind of like an Orioles stack against him. Santander, switch hitter, I believe. Aaron Hicks is a switch hitter. Adley Rutschman is a switch hitter. Then you could look at their righty bats against Ranger Suarez there. Next game, we've got the Dodgers at the Tigers. Patrick Sandoval versus Michael Lorenzen. This one has some weather concerns. Depending on when you watch this video, the weather concerns may or may not be done by now. So that is something to keep in mind. Looking at that, again, Michael Lorenzen is a name that is floating around to get traded. Anything can happen. So this is where you got to be a little bit weary because the trade deadline is the 2nd of August, which is a month or a week away. So this could be his final start. If he goes out and balls, it's even better for everybody involved. So looking at his splits here, or his last game, we took him against Kansas City. I even picked him up in my season-long league. 7 innings. 3 strikeouts wasn't a lot. That's unfortunate. If he could have 5 or 6, he would add even more fantasy points. But he came off with 23.4 fantasy points at 6,400. If we could get around that, that's perfect for me. Had a good game against Seattle, 28.8 fantasy points. Against Oakland, 21.5. Splits being at home, 3.78 ERA, so a little bit worse ERA at home, but I'll still take it. Still has more Ks at home, a couple more walks, more home runs, more earned runs. I get that. It's the probably tournament. Well, both of these are going to be tournament because there's only 2 games on this slate. Weather is a little bit of concern. I think every single pitcher on this is okay to look at. So I don't mind Sandoval either. Game logs, really good game against the Yankees. Every pitcher lately has had a good game against the Yankees. Splits hasn't faced Detroit this year. Looking at away games here, 3 better ERA on the road, more strikeouts, more walks, just better on the road here. And against Detroit, they're really low against OPS. I don't mind that here. But again, the weather, kind of be weary of this. The weather is a little bit concerning to me. Next game, the Mets at the Yankees. Jose Quintana versus Carlos Rodon. Quintana's seen 47 plate appearances. Of them, 14.9 K percentage, 238 batting average. Rodon has struggled this season. This will be his, third start, I believe. 61 plate appearances, 283 batting average against him. Looking at this, Quintana making his second start of the year. So literally the day after Quintana made his first start of the year after coming off the IL, there was already reports that people were looking into him as a trade candidate, which makes no sense. I don't know why. But against the White Sox, his old team, 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, didn't get any run support from his guys. Only 3 strikeouts is a little bit concerning for me. But any pitcher against the Yankees has been made to look like Ohtani out there. I can see the Yankees knocking the cover off the ball because they hit lefties well, but I could also see him having a fantastic time. So I'll have both sides of this. I'm making multiple lineups. I'll put Quintana in there. He's got to get more than 3 strikeouts, so to make it viable, especially at 5,700. We're going to need like 5 to 6 strikeouts, 5 to 6 innings as well. But then you could be stacking the Yankees against Quintana. As long as the weather holds up. If Stanton's playing the outfield, I like Stanton. Bader, depending on Rovart, if he's starting, he might be starting but a day-night came in on Tuesday night to pinch hit. So it really just depends getting those right. Gleyber Torres against Quintana as well. And then the flip side of that, Rodon, he's 0-3. His ERA is 7.36. He only has 11 total strikeouts. Against the Angels, 4 hits allowed, 6 earned runs, 2 home runs, 3 strikeouts. At Colorado, 5 innings pitched, 4 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, no run support. Not looking good. They've only got him for like 6 to 7 more years, so that's plus for the Yankees. Looking at this, home games, I mean, he's better at home, but it's one start. That's not saying much. The Mets, however, they are a bad team. They did put up a ton of runs yesterday. Don't know which Mets team's going to show up. That's the problem. Is it going to be the Mets team that's terrible this year, or is it going to be the Mets team that dominated yesterday's game? If it is, we've got Pete Alonso, who had 2 home runs on Tuesday. You could be seeing him dominate here against Carlos Rodon. You could see Jeff McNeil. You got Lindor. I'm probably off the Rodon train here, hoping for the best, but I don't want to pay $9,000 for 7.36 ERA. Not good. So not paying up for Rodon on this slate. Braves at the Red Sox. You got Spencer Strider versus Brian Bayo. Strider, 3 plate appearances, nothing there. Love me some Strider. Getting a ton of strikeouts. We can see on the road, 2.94 ERA. So he is better on the road. Has little less strikeouts, but 2 less starts. Coming off 13 Ks against Arizona. 27.9 fantasy points. Did give up 4 earned runs, though. So he does give up earned runs, but he's getting a ton of strikeouts, guys. Double-digit strikeouts, 3 straight games. Arizona, White Sox, and Tampa Bay. 2 of those teams are good. Now he gets to go up against Boston. Hasn't faced them before. Really hasn't faced them ever. Just 3 plate appearances. Looking at this, I know he's 12,700, but I love Spencer Strider on this slate. Against Brian Bayo, looking at, he's out. Why is he out? So he's on the paternity list. So he should be back. Maybe. So they're saying he will be back for this start. So looking at this, he's faced Atlanta one time this year. Went 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 1 home run, got the W, had 19.3 fantasy points there. Could be a sneaky option. This could be a lower scoring game than you would think, especially at Fenway. Home games, 3.14 ERA. Away, 4.14. So, honestly, I don't mind either of these. I think Strider's more of your cash option. I think Bayo is more of your tournament option there. Rangers at the Astros, battle of the lefties. Andrew Heaney versus Framber Valdez. Heaney's seen 100 of these plate appearances out of the Astros, 26 K percentage. Framber has seen 149 Rangers bats, 24.2 K percentage, a 225 batting average. Looking at Heaney here, splits-wise, has faced Houston twice this year, 10 innings, 0 earned runs, and 12 strikeouts, which is kind of impressive. I don't know how Heaney's been pitching like this. Just saw Houston back on July 2nd, 5 innings, 8 Ks. Then faced Houston back on 4/16, 5 innings, 4 Ks. So it's been very up and down, but I don't mind him as a tournament option just because people aren't going to, they might not dig into these numbers as much as we are doing here. So Haney for tournaments, I don't mind. But again, the Astros are so much better than what they're playing, so much better on paper than what they're actually playing out there. They can hit lefties well. If Andrew Haney gets into his head that he's not doing too good tonight, I think the Astros could absolutely dominate him, but he's had success. So I will have some exposure to Andrew Haney in tournaments. And then Valdez here. Looking at Valdi here. I don't know if they call him Valdi. I just did. Coming off not so good performance against the Oakland. 5 innings, 4 earned runs. That's not good. 8-6 record, 2.94 ERA. Looking at this, he's faced Texas 1 time this year. 6 innings pitched, got the loss. Gave up 5 runs, only 1 of them earned. Still. 2 walks, 7 Ks. Had a 21.9 fantasy point outage there. So that's not too bad. But he's 10,900. So, again, though, you could, depending, you could take Strider Valdez here and pair with Alex Wood, who gets a nice matchup against Oakland, and I don't mind that. But again, both of these offenses are really good. They're playing for first place in this division. I'll have exposure to tournaments with these guys, but the bats also are in play for me as well. It's one of those weird slates where I'm not like 100% confident on all of the pitching. There's not like those handful of guys that stick out to me that I'd just be like, oh, I'm all in on there. Cubs at the White Sox is next. Marcus Stroman versus Lance Lynn. Stroman, 74 plate appearances, 246. Another trade candidate for the Cubs if they're out of it, but they're kind of in it right now for the playoffs, so it's a really weird situation to be in. But this could potentially be his last start of the year for the Cubs against Lance Lynn. 53 plate appearances, 306. Looking at Stroman here. Hasn't faced the White Sox this year. On the road, I mean, it's however many miles apart, so it is a road game, but there's no traveling involved. On the road, 3.11 ERA, basically kind of the same. 3.07 ERA at home, so not much difference. A little bit less Ks and one less start. Less home runs, less earned runs, less runs, more hits allowed on the road. So I don't mind. And then we kind of just look at his game log. Didn't do good against St. Louis. 3.2 innings last 6 days ago. 4 earned runs, 1 home run, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts there. But he's had good games up and down. So he's had a couple of stinkers lately. I don't know if his amazing start, as you can see, started really good with Milwaukee and Texas. His start was pretty on fire. He's kind of come back down to earth just a little bit. But I will have exposure to him. And then Lance Lynn here, looking at his game logs. Minnesota, 8.4 fantasy points. Not much there. Gave up 6 earned runs. 14.6 against Atlanta. Gave up 4 earned runs there. Against the Angels, gave up 5. Against Boston, gave up 3. Hasn't faced the Cubs this year. Home games, 6.11 ERA. I mean, he's a bloated ERA. 6-9 record, 6.18 ERA, but he is striking out a ton. So he's getting those fantasy points from the strikeouts, but he's losing fantasy points due to how many runs he's given up. So just like in yesterday's video, I love the Cubs against Kopech, and they did well. I kind of like the Cubs here against Lance Lynn. I don't think I'll have any exposure to Lynn. I will have exposure to Stroman, though. And then the final game, the Athletics at the Giants. Hogan Harris versus supposedly Alex Wood. Hogan Harris hasn't faced San Francisco this year. 2-4 record, 6.11 ERA. Road games, 7.45 ERA. It is a pitcher's park, but I'm probably looking at San Francisco bats here. Kind of like, just like yesterday, they were one of our stacks in our cheat sheet. I'm looking at Austin Slater, Wilmer Flores, JD Davis, maybe Conforto, Lamont Wade Jr., like a lot of the righty bats there. And then Alex Wood, let's check it. This should be Alex Wood. We'll go with that. If it's not, I'll let you know in the Discord. But looking at this, he's not going deep into games. That's the problem. 4 innings against Washington, 5 earned runs. Minus 3.8. Against Pittsburgh, another good matchup for him. 3.2 innings, 1 strikeout, only 3.5. Colorado had a good game. 5 innings pitched, only 3 strikeouts. So the problem is he's not striking out a ton of people. That that is the problem. He has a good matchup against Oakland. Hasn't faced them this year. Pitching at home, he's got a worse ERA at home. It's just one of those slates where there's only 5 games on this slate. It's broken up weirdly for a main slate. I'm avoiding Harris completely. Quintana at 5,700 is very intriguing to me because the Yankees have sucked lately. Alex would have. He's intriguing to me as a SP2. If he could get more strikeouts, that would be great. Just because it's Oakland and they're bad. Haney has had success against Houston this year, so I will have some exposure to him. Lance Lynn, I'm probably avoiding Lance Lynn and going with Cubs bats. Rodon at 9,000 with his performances lately. I know he's a really good pitcher and he could throw a perfect game in this. I'm probably avoiding Carlos Rodon here. Bayo against Atlanta I think will be very under-owned because it's Atlanta, so I'll take a little bit of Bayo. Stroman, I don't mind Stroman against the White Sox. Valdez, a little bit weary on him because, again, Texas is a really good hitting team. I'll have some exposure to Valdez, but I will have exposure to Texas bats. And then Strider, I'm all in on Strider. I know it's in Fenway, so that's the only thing that scares me a little bit, but I will have exposure to Strider. That's why he's the video picture that you see up top here. So that's what I've got in this video, everybody. Hopefully it was a good breakdown. I don't like these slates where we have to break it down differently with different slates, different players, different amount of games in each one. So we will be back tomorrow. It'll be less games for a Thursday. I'm sure I haven't even looked into it yet. No reason to. But Thursday is usually a travel day, so we usually have like 8 to 10 games there. Could be an early start as well, but we will be back for a video. So again, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and go check out FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. Bring home some bacon with everybody else. All right, have a good one, guys. Peace!